Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Doctor Who review. Spontaneous, improvised, and off the wall. Oh, it's...
Well, that felt flat, didn't it? Completely spontaneous, Joe. Completely spontaneous.
Sup? Now here's the weird thing. You're looking at me, but I'm on a screen, which means at the moment, I'm two-dimensional. Yeah? Touch it with your hand. Get your hand, put it on the screen. Can't feel it. Can't feel the nose, can you? Can't feel the head, can you? Can't feel the ears. Can't even feel the Clary. Can't even feel the Clary foot.
I'm taking my foot off the screen. But
I could be one of them. I could be one of them right now.
If you come to the meet up in February, you'll meet the 3-dimension. 4-dimension.
No,
because you smell a little bit.
That's not dimensions. It's not like that high, that wide, that deep, and that smelly.
It is, because you know when you go to those like
no, that's senses. You're confusing 5 senses with dimensions.
No, when you go to like the 4D films, they always put like something smelly or spray you with water or something like that, don't they?
Right, cool. So if you come to the Posse meetup in February, I will spray you with water and be a little bit smelly, as well as being in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Good.
Aren't you glad you have me here?
Yes.
Aren't you glad I'm back?
Clary's back, everyone.
Woo-hoo!
If you were on earlier, you would have seen little Izzy sitting there during Hearthstone. She was very, very cute as well. She's asleep. So tonight we're talking about Flatline. I think each episode should have like its own little hand action.
Well, the last time's hand action was, where's my hand?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You lost your hand?
I did. It's because it's slightly delayed. I had my hand doing this.
Yeah.
So maybe today's.
Well, what do you think about tonight's episode then? I mean, show us with your hand where tonight's episode goes.
Coming slowly. Seriously, where's my hand?
I don't know.
Seriously, why is my hand on the left-hand screen, but not... This is really creepy. Where's my hand gone? Oh, there it is. It's just too late. Okay, I'm going to try again.
Okay, right.
Now where is it?
God.
This is like the weirdest thing
Hi,
ever.
welcome to Clara's hand.
I've got it. This is what I thought of today's episode.
In the middle. Good, you found your hand. Tell us what you thought about Flatline.
I thought it was a bit flat, actually.
Oh, not a fan?
I don't know. There was lots of things that I liked about it. No, that's not true. There was several things that I liked about it, but I had a touch of the boredom.
Oh.
Yeah.
A touch of the not very excities.
Yeah. I really liked the whole thing about the doctor. Sorry, the whole thing about Clara becoming the Doctor. Yeah. Really came out today, and that was pretty cool.
It was fun plot line as well, and we've been picking up that over the last few weeks. You know that she's picking up those little character traits of his.
Yeah, we've been kind of picking that up, and that really came together tonight. And you saw her act as the Doctor.
Yeah. And
I thought that was really cool.
It's like what was hinted at before has now become explicit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that line at the end when he was like, "You were an exceptional Doctor, but goodness had nothing to do with it."
Yeah, she was like, "I was really good, wasn't I?" Yeah.
I also...
sorry, can I say something on that?
I suppose so.
Which actually goes full circle, because do you remember right at the beginning of the series, episode 1 and episode 2, where he was asking the question all the time, tell me, Clara, be a pal.
Am I a good man?
Am I a good man? So the first 2 episodes, he was questioning his own goodness, and then they went into other aspects of the Doctor's personality. But now she's picking up the Doctor's character traits, and he's now questioning her goodness. See, it's almost like they sat down and planned it out in advance.
I know. How clever are they? Someone should give them like a contract for a really good, popular program.
But you know what I mean? But I think this synergy has actually been missing in some of the Matt Smith series.
Do you think so?
There's been some great episodes. There's been some brilliant bad guys in the Matt Smith, but this series is very much to be taken as a whole, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Every episode, and I don't just mean like there's Missy cameos here and there. I mean I'm talking themes. I mean I think it's actually more. It's more. Each episode is more in sync with the ones before that I think we've seen before, because it's not just like, oh yeah, we've seen that enemy before. It's actually like, oh yeah, that theme of trust or betrayal or goodness or whatever are being taken all the way through.
I agree.
Cool.
The other thing that I really liked about it was the concept behind it. Because obviously we have time and relative dimension and space. messes around with time all the time. Messes around with time all the time.
Oh.
Time travels lots. Space travels lots. But we've never really messed around, or have we? Not that I can remember really messed around with the dimension.
That's true. That's a nice idea.
Yeah, I would like to take credit for that, but that was in the Radio Times.
Oh, was it?
It was either the Radio Times or the Independent, something I read it in.
But it's still a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point, and I thought that was really cool. But I think the actual baddie just didn't do a lot for me today. Like, there was a couple of slightly scary moments.
Yeah.
And the resolution of the baddie when he just kind of stepped out the TARDIS and zapped it with his sonic screwdriver.
He did a little bit, didn't he? I'm here now.
It's kind of depressing when you spend such a long time, like 45 minutes, like with all of these clever problem solving stuff, and then he just steps out of his TARDIS and zaps him with his sonic screwdriver.
I got very, very cross with one of the Matt Smith's episodes that did that. It was do you remember the Black Boxes episode?
Yes,
the Black Box, and all the way through there was this really cool mystery, what the black boxes, what they're for, and then all of a sudden the countdown appeared on them, and then all of a sudden the boxes opened, and yada 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 yada, and then the Doctor at the end just teleported up to their ship with his sonic and went, well, they're gone then. And I agree. I think probably, we were talking about this just before the stream, and I think probably the Doctor said something earlier like, I think I know I can beat them, but I haven't got enough power, and then Clara managed to give them enough power. And so I think the lines were there, but I agree, ultimately it came down to the Doctor standing at the TARDIS and going, boosh. That bit was a weakness. I thought you know how Doctor Who, that they try and have things that are scary without being gory.
Yeah.
And the whole people being sucked into a two-dimensional wall is, that's another one of those little scary aspects.
That opening scene actually was quite scary when he dropped the phone.
Yeah, and it was swinging
and
away.
then you kind of saw a pattern along the border of the room. And to begin with, I was kind of like, oh, pattern on the thingy. What's that going to be? And then the way it kind of zoomed in to see his face, I was like, ooh, nasty.
There was another lovely camera angle with the guy with number 22 on his jacket, and the camera kind of swung around, and it's like, oh no, he's not there anymore. He's gone. And I also liked the when the policewoman went, and then they were trying to work out where she's gone, and then Doctor was like, that's not a mural. That's a map of a nervous system. And then you were like, oh yeah, it is actually an outline of a human being, and then the desert that was actually skin or things like that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
It was a good traditional Doctor Who episode in that it was a scary monster, people running away, trying to work what out what it's all about. It was good. I liked it. I have to say, I thought it was. I don't think it was one of those ones that was like, groundbreaking or anything like that. But it had the classic Doctor Who formula of humor. Scared people running around, people getting trapped in places, people need rescuing, tension, and added on.
It had a couple of moments of humour as well. There was a couple of, you laughed out loud at the thing.
Oh, well, the Doctor being in the tiny TARDIS was hilarious for a start. And then, oh God, the Doctor. It was when she said Addams Family. She was like, do the Addams Family.
Both of us looked at each other and went, do the Addams Family, what?
And then I got it just before we did it, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be hilarious. And then, and then the fact that it fell back in as well. But it was interesting because the Doctor was kind of absent, but he wasn't. But it must have been an interesting one for him to film, because essentially he must have not been on any of those sets, in any of those things. He must have spent the whole time, But you felt from that he was actually completely there and completely with them, and doing the Mary Poppins sledgehammer thing out of the bag.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, there was a few laughed out loud moments. So no, I have to say I liked it. I do. Last week I loved with the whole mummy thing.
Yeah.
This one I would say is a good, solid episode in my view. However, I do. But you said you were bored.
I was a little bored. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I was trying to work out why I was bored. Halfway through, I was trying to work out, and I was trying to think of the episodes which I absolutely love. Like my all-time favourite, and why it is I love them, and why it is I was a little bit bored tonight. And to be honest, I don't think I've quite got it.
Yeah.
I think. Because, it has so many good elements. It had the kind of interplay between the Doctor and Clara, the development of Clara, linking in with the plot line. It was all there, but there was just something about it. And I can only really put it down to perhaps the enemy being a little bit dull.
The enemy was... It was one of those kind of absent enemies, to say, like he was there, but you don't know who they are.
See, that doesn't even make sense, because I like the absent enemies the most.
Yeah,
do you
Midnight,
remember that? Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember that episode recently with the spiders? And I complained that for the beginning of the episode was brilliant because you didn't know who the enemy was. Mm-hmm. As soon as they put a giant animatronic spider on it, I lost interest. So I should love the invisible.
Maybe you're just a little bit tired.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just how you feel right now, or maybe it was a little bit boring. I don't know. There was I didn't feel that the supporting characters, the non-Doctor and Clara characters, were particularly strong this time.
No,
and a little bit formulaic. I mean, they seemed all right on paper. You had the graffiti to go do community service, and
I quite liked him actually.
And then the extra nasty, I don't know who he was, supervisor.
Yeah.
But the supervisor was kind of almost too grumpy to be believable. Like I actually thought for various points, I don't know if anyone else did, but I actually thought for various points in the episodes that he was actually the bad guy.
The point where he didn't read the invisible paper.
Yeah. And the fact that he seemed to be sabotaging things at various points.
That's the point that I thought he was.
But it was not. He was just a knob. Yeah. So it might have been that, that the interplay there wasn't particularly strong. Anyways, Alvin's going to join us tonight. Alvin hasn't joined us before, so everyone can give Alvin a massive welcome in the chat. And by the way, if you I haven't asked yet, but if you guys would like to read your comment out on the show, use !question and then put your comment, and it'll appear up here on my screen, and I can then make that kind of appear, and I'll read them out and things. So I'd love to get your comment. So !question, tell me your views, what you liked, what you didn't like, and we'll read them out after we've had a little chat with Alvin. Last thing, Alvin, if you're ready, just turn the volume off the stream and I'll call you through Skype. The other thing I just wanted to say is that some of you have been nice enough to donate to the channel. Me and Clary Pose and our little Izzy Pose. You never have to. It's completely voluntary. But if you are a regular viewer and you would like to give something back, the link is below the channel. Or failing that, if you just want to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and retweet things around to support us, that would be fantastic as well. Right. Let's bring Alvin into the show. Have to make sure he doesn't echo.
Hello.
Hello there, Alvin. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to the show. You've got a huge crowd of people here saying welcome and hi, Alvin. So I know you're a bit nervous about coming on the show, but don't worry about it. Just say whatever comes to your mind, whatever you want to talk about it. Relax. Hey, it's just a little chat.
As long as you don't swear.
As long as you don't swear or say anything that's borderline politically infamous.
Right, I promise.
Is infamous a word?
Infamous.
Infamous.
I think that you have combined two words, inflammatory and infamous.
Oh, that's nice. Infamous. I'm gonna next time.
I like infamous.
I like it. Yeah, I'll next time I come across a bad guy in a computer game, I'll be like, that's infamous. That is. So, Alvin, what did you think of tonight's show?
I really loved tonight's episode, and I can't decide if it's one of my top favourites or just one of those that are sort of average. But it had a lot of areas in it that I really enjoyed. Like, I loved the whole concept of 2D people coming into 3D world, and the Doctor not knowing how to stop them, having to figure out throughout the whole episode. And I found it really fascinating. I loved.
There was that nice element where the Doctor was talking about they're learning how to do this, they're learning how to do that, and so it wasn't an enemy that was just there. It was an enemy that kind of evolved and changed as the episode went on, which in a way kind of it kind of opened up the question of where are they going, where are they going to end up?
Yeah, and towards the end, you thought they were coming through, but then you realise that actually they were trying to attack us. They were aware of what they were doing in the end, and they were.
Yeah, the Doctor kind of
sort of thought, oh,
Sorry, Alvin, what did you say?
But I was waiting for you. I'd finished my point. I just said that they sort of changed, and you thought, where are these going? Because I thought they were going to be people that we could bring through, and they'd be friendly people, and
Yeah, they very much halfway through. There was very much, it was ambiguous, wasn't it, which way it was going to go? Were they going to end up being goodies, baddies? Just because there was a Star Trek episode or even film Star Trek 4. There you go. For those of you that are Trekkie nerds as well as Doctor Who nerds. The Star Trek 4 was all about this spaceship that came to Earth and was causing all sorts of problems with the humpback whales and stuff, and they had to kind of communicate. It wasn't supposed to be causing problems, but it did. And so tonight's episode easily could have gone that way towards the whoops, we didn't know we were hurting you, but then there was the little speech at the end, if you're going to play the monster, then I'll have to play the monster killer. Claire, what did you think? Which way would you have preferred them to have gone, or did you not think it mattered?
Actually, I quite liked the fact that they went the baddie route because of the fact that it often seems to end with the Doctor with a whole kind of, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll just,
the egg was innocent thing, wasn't it?
That kind of thing. And actually, I kind of like the fact that just for once, they were bad, mean monsters, and they needed to be zapped with a sonic screwdriver.
And they were blapped. Was there anything you didn't like about tonight, Alvin?
Well, I agree with you on the sort of caretaker person or whoever he was, who sort of seemed a bit off, like he didn't see the psychic paper, and you'd think that he was going to be some sort of big character that had some sort of special powers and was behind this, but in the end he just turned out to be some, idiot, really.
He was kind of too grumpy to be realistic, wasn't he?
Who had no imagination.
Yeah. I couldn't work out from the psychic paper thing whether they were just saying he's got so little imagination that the psychic paper doesn't work, or that there was something unique about him. But I think it was the former. I think, bearing in mind it didn't go anywhere, I think the implication was he just has no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
I sort of liked that Clara got to see how the Doctor feels, because the past few episodes she's been saying to him, why do you make these choices? You should try to save them. But she was in his shoes and she saw how hard it was. And I hope that she appreciates that, because you can see the Doctor tries his best, even if he doesn't always show it. And we've seen from our interaction to the show, which is Clara, that it's not as easy as we think, and it's difficult to take charge and control these people that you don't know. And
it also gave us that lovely kind of little glimpse into his psyche as well. Like he was almost kind of reading off the numbers. Okay, so right, so you need to take control of this group, let them know who's in charge. You need to make sure they're still hopeful rather than kind of doom. And it kind of, almost like a kind of military operation. But it's again, I think, really sets Clara apart from some of the other companions, because we've had companions that have been in love with him, companions that have just wanted to travel with him, companions that, a whole range. But this companion is actually becoming him.
Yeah.
They had Martha, who became a soldier, didn't they? There was a kind of implication there. But here, Clara is actually picking up the traits of the Doctor, with lying to her boyfriend, addicted to the idea of adventure. It's great. Giving false hope when she doesn't actually know. And then, although there was that little bit at the end where she seemed to kind of take a little bit back, where she was kind of like, what would the Doctor do? And then she was like, no.
What would I do?
What should I do? Where do you think they're going with Clara, Alvin? Like, what would you like to see? Because obviously this is a plotline that's going to have to resolve somewhere. Where would you like to see it go?
Well, at the moment, I'm not quite sure, but at the moment, I think it's sort of going towards Missy's going to take Clara, and the Doctor's got to try and save her in the end. And all the people that have been taken here, there are obstacles in the way, and he has to try and stop them. And I think, as you said a few episodes ago, she might be leaving, because there's a lot of hinting that this is her last series, and a lot of actors do better in the last series. So I think this is sort of her last series, and I like where it's going towards the end, rather than just, you've got the obvious hints of, they're going to die, they're going to leave or something. It's more, do we know if she's staying or not? Because there's loads of hints to it, but then there's also hints that she's staying, and you can't really make up your mind.
I think to an extent, like, I'm loving her in this series. I think she's from last series she was so dull, and this series she's so good. But I think in a way, I think she almost has to go, because it's like, where would you go from here? Because she can't just be his equal. Because I just saw Sheila in there in the chat. She just said Clara wishes to be his equal, and they can't ride around as equals as a narrative tool. I don't think that would work. I think it has to end up with something. Either the end of her, even them being pitted against each other might be interesting. Doctor versus Doctor, kind of in some way. But there was that interesting line tonight from Missy about, I've chosen her, or she's mine. I can't remember what the line was.
Chosen well, Clara, or something like that. I think it was.
Sorry, Alvin, say that again.
I think it's like, we've chosen you well, Clara. Very well. So it's something like that. And
which is weird though, because she can't be like a creation of Missy, because obviously we know kind of Clara's backstory anyway, that she's kind of she's the girl that saves the Doctor. Like, we know her origin.
That she's in his timeline forever, which is going to make it hard for when she leaves, because there's always going to be a...
True, there's always going to be little Claras floating around from time to time.
So they've got somehow resolved.
Yeah. But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing how they resolve it. I just hope in classic Doctor Who style, I just hope the resolution is as good as the setup, because it isn't always. It isn't always. Right, let's take a couple of comments here. Owen547 says, "What did you think of the Missy cameo at the end?" Clara, what did you think?
I think it kind of teases without telling you, without giving you an all. But actually, having said that, today gave you more information than the previous cameos have been, haven't they? Didn't they? It kind of reminds me of all of the stuff which happened with Amy. Yeah, that kind of thing. And I think that's probably why you just said a minute ago, Addy, she can't have created Clara. Because that was a situation where they kind of created and bred Amy. Yeah. Wasn't it?
Well, Amy's flesh clone, yeah.
Whereas this sounds more of like a choosing, a choice. She's being prepared for something.
Right. And what did you think of the Missy cameo,
Alvin? I'm not quite sure. As I say, it can go either way. They're either setting her up to be against the Doctor, or setting her up to take her from the Doctor, and they're going to be separated forever. But I know that either way, it's going to turn out really exciting, and I hope that, as you said, it doesn't disappoint and it proves to be what it says.
Sorry, I can't pronounce your name there, mate. Sorry, Tontbatak, I think, says Missy's referring to the fact that she was the one that gave Clara's the Doctor's phone number. If we went to the Matt Smith one ages ago. So it could just be a simple reference to that. We're good, and thank you for pointing that out, Tom. But it could be an implication of further involvement as well. What else have people said? Matthew191 says, "Love today's episode. Reminded me of an older episode, but don't know which one." Great, thanks, even meaningful. I'm getting fed up of the Missy thing, but I hope it gets more interesting. I have to say, I agree with Matthew on that one. I'm not fed up with the Missy thing. I'm not bored of it, but I do think it's almost a cameo for the sake of a cameo, rather than being dramatic or interesting. It's more like, oh yeah, so that'll go somewhere at some point. I guess I'd like a little bit more.
I don't know if it's a cameo for the sake of a cameo. For me, it's deliberately trying to make you guess, tease you. I don't think they're doing it just for funsies.
But if you think about the previous ones, so Donna Noble, there's something on your back.
Yeah.
Doctor, he will knock 4 times, and then there were various, people knocking 4 times on various things, and each time I was like, ah!
Yeah.
And the other ones had a kind of a sense of menace to them, or something that kind of was... I guess I've just been more engaged with the previous cliffhangers than this one. Sorry, Evan?
With the other ones, they've not been so obvious, whereas this, you could say with the other ones that they've not been so obvious, but with this one, it's slightly more obvious, and where we've been used to not knowing anything at all, and this time we've been given something, but we don't know. It's sort of aggravating to not know it yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we've been given this character, and we saw the character from the very first episode. We know her name. We know that she's we're watching the Doctor, really, and we know she has something to do with the afterlife. So maybe we do know quite a few things, but then again, I guess we kind of knew all of that from the first cameo, and I guess the only extra information we've had so far is that she has something to do with Clara. I don't know. I'm sure it'll end up with something cool and fun. Yeah. I just guess I just like something a little bit more impactful. I mean, just something like, hey, Doctor, time is running out, or because she also doesn't seem to be interested actually in what the Doctor's doing. Like, she doesn't seem to be angry when he beats the enemies. She doesn't seem to be, oh, thank goodness they've got through. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't seem to be...
She's not very involved with him.
Exactly. Watching, and that's interesting the first couple of times, but by the time you get to the 5th and 6th time of someone just watching, it's a bit like, okay, stop watching and do something. I mean, because even today, supposing... I don't know, like just supposing like today when they were trying to beat one of the enemies or something, like, she interfered in some way, either tried to make them fail or make them succeed, or even managed to defeat the enemy for them or something, just something that kind of makes you kind of go, well, hang on, so is she a baddie or a goodie? Something that gives an ambiguous style to it. But But hey, Alvin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience?
Thank you for listening to me, and I hope I haven't said too much or have such an annoying voice.
You've done brilliantly, mate. Guys, in the audience, if we could say thanks to Alvin, please, that would be great. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I would like to retract. I would like to change something.
I think you'd like to retract something.
Would I? No. Look, there it is.
You want to redact it, do you? Wow.
Last week, we said that we didn't like the bit at the end of the episode where Clara was all the way through as well. I'm going to leave, and then suddenly was like, no, I'm going to stay, I love you, type thing. And we said at the time that there was a car alarm, and we couldn't really hear what was going on, but it just seemed very, very sudden. And Spud kind of agreed as well, kind of like, oh, yeah, it was a great episode, but it was a bit meh at that point. I watched it again, and I've completely changed my mind on it. Because for me, it was actually a load of dialogue about addiction, and it was the fact that the doctor was kind of talking about addiction, and then Clara was there all ready to go, and all of a sudden she realizes she can't go, not because she cares about the doctor, not because she cares about her boyfriend, but because she's actually just addicted to the thrill. And then her boyfriend says something irrelevant about something, and then she comes down, lies to the doctor straight away, and kind of goes, "Oh yeah, no, it was something else all along," because she's an addict. And I actually think that was really good. I take back my criticism of the previous episode. Did you agree with me on that one?
I do. I think we got some quite helpful comments on the YouTube video, didn't we?
Yes. Someone. This will go up on YouTube, and someone commented that on YouTube, and it made me think and rewatch and go, "Oh yeah."
So after we read your comments on YouTube, we went back and watched it again, and kind of watching it without the car alarm going off.
Yeah.
So we weren't so distracted. It was actually quite a good turning point.
Yeah.
And it was that same thing, like when somebody who, oh dear, that
could be Aussie.
That kind of point where somebody who drinks too much, has a problem with drinks, has a problem with drugs, just kind of lies about it. It was that kind of feeling.
I mean, because it makes this kind of transformation into the Doctor character that she's going through a little bit dangerous and scary as well. You know, she can't control what she's doing. She's addicted to being with the Doctor. She's also hasn't got that kind of moral centre maybe that she had in the Spider episode 2 weeks ago. Now the Doctor's kind of questioning whether she's still as good as she was before. I think, again, it's a brilliant journey that her character is on. Just to plug my own stuff here, I've been working on a Fallout 3 series, kind of a role play thing. It's wonderfully silly, but I really like it. Go and check it out if you enjoy it. But the whole idea I'm trying to do that is that the character I'm kind of role playing in that is going on an emotional journey and a journey of changes of various characteristics. And Clara is doing that exact thing. She starts as the girl that's kind of like, oh, this is nice. Then she changes into the girl I'm not going to be treated like that. But now she's going into I'm addicted. I'm picking up his character traits. I can be cold. I wonder if next week she will make a choice, that will cost lives, but do it for the greater good or something.
I have to say, I was just out the wrong. I don't know if you said this. That scene where she was talking to Pink on the phone,
yes,
on her mobile. Did you just talk about that?
No.
That scene where she was talking to Pink on the mobile and she was kind of in the middle of absolute chaos. Yeah. And he was like, "Dude, you should see what's going on in the park today." And you could see her being like,
Yeah. But the dishonesty. I mean, obviously that's going to come to a head at some point. I hope it's not just. I have to say that I do like the Pink character, but I hope it's not a kind of rather a wet kind of romantic link up. Something needs to. She's being dishonest with him there. I mean, that needs to. So they need to go somewhere with that. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed our thoughts on Flatline tonight. Owen, in fact, just said, where do I think they're going with the Danny character? I think they're going to go along the line that he's going to find out and he's going to be annoyed. He's not a very strong emotionally character. I think he's a good character. I think he's a strong character, but I think emotionally he likes Clara a lot. So I don't think he'll walk away from her. So we'll have to see where that one goes. And Henwas just said, apparently I'm in next week's episode in wolf form. Yes, indeed. Yes, that's maybe I'll do next week's review with the wolf on the screen, perhaps. And Hoovian Milk has suggested maybe they're setting up Clara to go to the Academy on Gallifrey like they were doing with Ace at the end of the classic series. Or, she can be like the young Padawan in Star Wars or something like that, Or maybe Yoda will be kind of like, I sense much fear in this one, I sense, or that kind of thing. Anyway. Thanks so much for coming tonight. I'm going to play a few adverts, and if you wouldn't mind sticking around to the end, of those, I will give you some bonus gold. Thank you so much for coming along. Me and Claire will certainly be on later tomorrow with our Posse News chat, and I'll probably be on during the day doing Terraria, Hearthstone, who knows what. But if you're following on Twitch, do hit the follow button. If you're following on YouTube, then do hit the subscribe button. And you can follow me on Twitter and various other things as well. Celluloth has got some highlights and quotes from previous shows up on Facebook and Twitter. If you haven't seen them, go and check them out. They are very highly entertaining, and thank you to her for putting them up. Take care. God bless. You have been fantastic. And you know what? So was I.